Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, depending on where you are. Welcome to our YouTube live stream today. Well, let's get into it. The Portugal citizenship pathway is being extended, as you know or should know, from 5 years to 10 years. And what does this mean? It means it triggers a large influx of new applicants for the Portugal residency program through investment, also known as the Golden Visa. All new applicants want to lock in their applications for the quote-unquote 5-year citizenship pathway and not be extended to the 10 years, because if you apply, the belief is that you can still lock in the 5-year application, even though you've just applied for the immigration and don't have your residency yet. This is a disputed legal matter, and it is unconstitutional in Portugal to apply regulations retroactively, hence making most legal advisors and applicants believe that if they do apply today and even submit the application a day before the new citizenship rules in Portugal change, allowing them to lock in the 5 years. That's huge, right? 5 versus 10 years. And Portugal is one of the most popular golden visas ever. And especially in Europe, it is the #1 program because it leads to citizenship without residency requirements. And you only need to spend literally 35 days in 5 years. That's like shorter than a vacation if you go once a year for a week. Hence, extending it to 10 years makes it a little bit less attractive to many applicants. And that's why everyone who is interested in an EU legitimate passport is applying for a Portugal Golden Visa today to potentially have the opportunity to lock in the 5 years. So we're not saying it's guaranteed. No legal advisor in Portugal can confirm to you 100% that you'd be locked in. But considering that the previous changes that happened in Portugal in 2023 with the real estate being removed and everyone purchasing that real estate and applying, it gives you a little bit of insight in terms of past track records with the government that potentially everyone can lock it in. But again, it's not guaranteed. In today's live, we'll cover the type of funds that are possible to invest in and qualify for the Portugal Golden Visa, their structures and so forth, realistic performance structures, risk profiles, and due diligence process. And that's a big one, the KYC, as well as alternative investment options such as digital asset funds in Portugal that can qualify you for the Golden Visa or that residency for you, your family, or even your parents. We'll talk about the commissions that are being paid by these funds. Yes, commissions. And how you can help to offset most of your legal costs when these commissions paid by these Portuguese investment funds are paid to your referral partner, and planning and how to file a lawsuit against the Portugal government to speed up your application processing when they've been delayed processing and you're stuck in a backlog and you don't know if your application for residency is going to be processed in 2 years, maybe 3 years now with this huge influx. You know why this backlog even exists in Portugal? It's because of the end of 2023 when the real estate was being shut down. There were so many applications that were submitted that created an automatic backlog that extended to over 2 years. They tried to bring it back down to 1 year, but reality is it's still 2 years, and now it may even go to 3 years. But there's a solution for that. Unedited, uncensored, no special effects, at least none that I can see in this live stream today, just the bare bones truth, like the rest of our YouTube videos on our channel. And yeah, there's people out there in the industry that may not like the exposed truth that we're offering you today, but it is what it is. What can I say? Freedom of speech, folks. YouTube. Quick introduction. My name is Reza, founder of INGWE, your gateway to international secure and low-risk investment options, alternative residencies, citizenships, and much more. We have an active portfolio of 20 different countries and programs around the world for investors and serious professionals seeking returns on their investments and or alternative residencies and passports. Our team is licensed both in real estate and immigration, residency, and citizenship. We work both with B2B and B2C, meaning we cooperate with financial investment advisors, real estate brokerages, advisory and consulting firms, and as well directly with individual investors and families like yourself. At INGWE, we have successfully helped thousands of families around the world since 2018 with investments and programs. Our existing portfolio includes Europe, Central America, North America, Canada, US, and the Caribbean islands, and even New Zealand, and including Dubai as well. So I would say the GCC. Whether you're seeking to invest in real estate abroad, aiming to retire comfortably, for your quality of life, maybe you're looking for positive cash flow overseas in a hard currency, finding crypto-friendly tax countries, or perhaps even acquire direct citizenship without moving from where you are today, or a fast-track residency, whether it's for yourself, your clients, future generations, your single siblings, or your parents. We do offer a wide, diverse range of options for you. Of course, we're not a typical sales company, folks. We educate you. We provide you the resources. We guide you. We do the comparisons. We help you weigh all your options based on risk, return, and your short, medium, and long-term goals. You can consider us as a custom solution provider. Our global partnerships and multilingual team speaking 10 languages ensure that no matter where you're coming from or where you're planning to invest in, you've got the support from A to Z. And if you want to ask us a question, come to our YouTube live or engage with our office through the link below this video or go through our website. Okay, let's jump into it, folks. The investment option breakdowns, the investment funds in Portugal. What qualifies as an eligible fund, right? There's no specific list of Portuguese investment funds approved for the Golden Visa in Portugal. Yeah, it's a shocker. Any investment funds which are approved by the CMVM, the Portuguese Securities Market Commission, and meet the qualifications of the Golden Visa program can become a financial investment vehicle for applicants to apply for their residency in Portugal. When they are registered with the CMVM authorities, it means they're fully regulated under Portuguese law. At least 60% of the fund portfolio must be invested in companies headquartered or operational in Portugal. Okay, the fund must not invest indirectly or directly in real estate in any way, because this was changed end of 2023, as we discussed, when real estate was completely removed from the option. So you can't even invest in a fund that invests in a real estate or even a REIT, right? Well, what are the types of funds that are available? There's typically two types of funds that you usually see for the Portuguese Golden Visa options, okay? Venture capital funds, which are open-ended, most of them, and private equity funds, which are closed-ended. Typically, the latter, meaning the private equity funds, will lock in the investor for 7 to 10 years with higher return expectations at the end of the period, but less liquidity, high risk profiles, right? For the open-ended venture capital funds, they can have either a shorter lock-in period, right, with early redemption admin fees, or several of them also allow daily or monthly liquidity windows to allow investors to exit the fund in case they either decide to give up their residency of converted or have converted at the time to Portuguese PR citizenship. So the open-ended one give you more liquidity, right? But keep in mind, you can combine and invest in different funds. So you've got some that are locked in with higher investment thresholds, like say returns on investment in 7 or 10 years, but then you've got medium ROIs on the open-ended ones, and we'll cover that in a bit. Performance expectations and risk profiles. Well, some of the funds offer annual returns forecast at 3 to 5%, which is a little bit realistic and conservative, and some of the private equity funds with longer lock-in option periods offer investment funds with potential payouts which are not regular frequency, right? So those are significantly higher ROIs, right? So you're looking to, double your money or triple your money in 7 to 10 years, right? So it depends on the private equity funds. But again, higher risk, there's no guarantee. According to the Portuguese law, you cannot guarantee capital for the Portuguese Golden Visa. So there you go. Typically, the private equity funds will require high risk profile for investors, and the venture capital funds expect, lower risk, medium risk. crypto digital asset funds approved for the Portugal Golden Visa. Are those in existence? There are several Golden Visa investment funds which have an allocation of their portfolio for cryptocurrencies. And these are not like 100% digital assets. It's usually 15 to 25% of the entire fund allocations for investors who have an appetite for digital assets and investment options. These funds, although not as common, so between 50 funds or 20 funds, you're not going to find even half of them that would have a digital asset allocation in that venture fund. They're becoming more and more popular, though, so they're looking to expand it. There's a few of those funds that are available that do have the digital asset crypto allocation in the fund, which is of interest to many, many new investors these days, and even more crypto experienced investors or veterans. What about the flexibility in diversifying your investment through the Golden Visa investment fund? Meaning, are you stuck investing in just one fund? Well, that kind of is not ideal. But it's possible as a Portugal Golden Visa applicant to invest in multiple registered and approved Portuguese Golden Visa funds, which qualify under the program. It is not mandatory to invest only in one fund, like Italy, for example, but it is possible to invest in multiple registered funds approved for the Golden Visa in Portugal. The advantage of this approach is that as an investor can choose to invest partially in a private equity fund or for higher potential returns, but longer timelines, but yet allocate more funds to the open-ended venture fund with short-term liquidity windows and smaller but regular returns, which is, a more conservative risk profile. This will provide the investor better diversification for their investment, of course. However, the downside can be the additional paperwork required for the KYC and investment certificate that each fund needs to provide for the immigration step, meaning you got an onboarding KYC that each applicant investor has to do. Plus, you got to get the certificates. You got to put that all together and then, make the investment and apply for your immigration. The most challenging part would be if you pick several funds to invest in as part of your 500,000 minimum investment to qualify for the Portugal Golden Visa would be not every fund can accept direct investment without a Portuguese bank account, meaning that one fund may have a direct channel for you to invest directly, skipping the Portugal Golden bank account, but the other fund would not be able to, meaning that you still need to go open a bank account, hence forcing you to go through the KYC of the Portuguese bank account, making it slower, and there's more paperwork. So keep that in mind. That's the disadvantage, unless you pick one or two funds that have that fast track option, meaning investing directly. And keep in mind, folks, if you're watching this and you're like, Reza, what about investing directly or using my 401ks or using a corporation to invest? That's all possible. Watch our video that we posted this past weekend. So that was, 5 days ago, maybe August 9th or 10th, right? Where we went through all that already. So I'm not going to repeat it in this live stream, where American citizens can use their 401k, self-directed IRAs. Canadians can use their private corporations, not the RRSP, but the private corporations, and how to skip opening a Portuguese bank account, because that could take 3 to 12 weeks, right? Remember, we're always posting about these key details for investors, entrepreneurs, for new programs, policy changes around the world, people seeking positive ROI for their investment diversification, the residencies, passports, and even tax relief. And that, if that's what you're interested in, make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel for more videos on this topic. And of course, why should you subscribe? Well, it's free. Not many things in life are free, and I think you agree on that. What's the KYC process for the Portuguese Golden Visa funds in 2025? By the way, if I'm talking too fast, just wait for this video to be posted and then put me in slow motion, okay? All Golden Visa investment funds have a KYC and onboarding step. Of course, everywhere in the world, not even just Portugal for a Golden Visa. You need to have an NIF first, Portuguese tax identification number. That's very important. Which our legal representative would obtain for you within 24 hours of signing the agreement, depositing, and giving us your power of attorney to represent you with the tax authorities in Portugal and the immigration department. Then you complete the KYC form for the investment funds you've selected to invest in. They can be from 15 to 20 questions about your source of funds, that's important, what your professional profile is, and so forth, to over 100 KYC questions, depending on which fund you do, because some of the funds are publicly traded, so there's a heavy load of KYC questions. But we've streamlined it all for you in one shot, so you don't have to fill out 3-4 different KYCs. Maybe you'll fill out 2, one for the Portuguese bank account and one for the investment funds, all combined. After the KYC is completed, you will either make the investment directly from your current country where the funds are located, or open a Portuguese bank account remotely to make the payment to your account in Portugal before flowing the money through the investment fund in Portugal. That's the traditional way of doing things. Watch our video that we posted earlier this week. That means anywhere from August 9th to 10th, where we have explained how to skip the Portuguese bank account opening in the first place and go direct and save a lot of time, a lot of KYC questions, a lot of paperwork, which is in your advantage. Not all nationalities and countries can invest directly in the fund. That's a reality. Typically from US, Canada, UK, all the Western countries are allowed, but not other countries that may be considered high risk, which means you cannot skip the step of investing directly without the Portuguese bank account being open if you're from Middle East, Asia, Southeast Asia, Africa, the places where they consider you high risk, even places where I was born from. In order to open the bank account in Portugal, one of the selected banks that we refer you to has to do an onboarding, right? So any bank. The entire process can take 3 to 12 weeks, and it depends which bank you're referred to. Obviously, we'll refer you to the bank that can do this the fastest, meaning 3 to 4 weeks. If you're from Middle East or Asia, the KYC process is exceptionally high. If you're from specific nationalities, it could be almost very challenging to do it remotely. However, we can assist with this entire process, and we have a wide range of banks in Portugal to refer you to, depending on your timeline, your nationality, where your money is, and your general investor profile. After the bank account is open and an investment of 500,000 euros is made in full, the final certificate of investment is issued by the investment funds that you've selected, called the ARI. With this certificate, you can then complete and submit the immigration application form, meaning we submit it for you if you've hired us, right? We just need that ARI from the investment funds to combine with the immigration application for Portugal. You will, of course, have to have prepared all the immigration supporting documents based on a customized checklist that our office would send to you based on your country and nationality. And of course, all this would happen while you're doing the KYC and investment and bank account opening if needed, right? So you save time. We're not doing things sequentially. We're doing them in parallel. Voila, you've completed the most difficult part of the whole Portuguese Golden Visa process, which is the multiple financial KYCs. KYCs meaning know your customer, right? Required for the Portugal Golden Visa. So how do you shorten the processing time? You've submitted it. Now you're waiting for 2 years or more for your residency to be approved, to come and do your biometrics and pick up your PR card. That's a long freaking waiting time, right? Well, here's a solution. Sue the Portuguese government with our legal team. It's 100% legal. It will not create any bias for your immigration application, and everyone's doing it, everyone who has the right legal advisors. So according to the regulations in Portugal, if within 30 days of applying, they don't give you an acknowledgement of the application, it is against the regulations of the government, of the rules in Portugal, hence allowing you to sue them. So what we do is we don't sue them in 10 days. We wait around 6 months, and then we see what the backlog and the latest policies and government processing times are. Then we file a lawsuit on your behalf. And then based on that lawsuit, typically your application will be processed 12 to 14 months, meaning it's fast-tracked. So instead of waiting for 2 years or more, even now with this huge influx of applicants doing it in the fourth quarter and third quarter of 2025, you can save a year off the whole processing time by just filing a lawsuit. The lawsuit costs around 3,500 euros for an application, and a small court fee of approximately 306 euros if you lose, and that's for claims up to 5,000 euros in government, in public court. So generally, it makes sense unless you really want to wait for 2 to 3 years. Did you just apply for the Portugal Golden Visa and are stuck in a backlog? Your representative didn't give you the lawsuit option to fast track you're losing time, and we all know time is money. And here's the ultimate secret of the Portugal Golden Visa hack to receive free legal representation and processing for your Golden Visa application. The best kept secret in the Golden Visa community is that all investment funds in Portugal, which qualify for the program, the residency program, pay commissions to the referral partners. Okay. This commission typically ranges from 4 to 5%. Sometimes you might get a lower, sometimes higher, with some funds even offering 10%, but that's rare. I've only seen one so far that is legitimate. And then some of them pay in milestone. What this means to you as an applicant, you're like, Reza, I don't care. I'm applying. Okay, commission. Well, you get the referral partner, meaning us, gets 20 to 25,000 euros by the Portuguese Golden Investment Funds for referring you, right? Because they're fighting for more of the piece of the pie of these investors overseas who want the Portugal Golden Visa. Imagine you could use some of these funds to offset your legal and government fees. Wouldn't that be great? This is what we can offer you as a client, applicant, or B2B partner. For our clients, B2C, we can offer you a 50-50 split of the entire commission in order to offset and refund most of your legal fees for the immigration aspect of Portugal Golden Visa. Typically, if you're a family of 2 or 3, this could offset 100% of your legal fees, although not the government fee. For our B2B partners, you would receive 80% of the whole commission back to you as a referral partner for referring your clients. And then you can decide what you want to do with that, right? The key is transparency. The key is to know that these funds are offering. And keep in mind, the Portuguese Golden Visa funds will not pay you or offer or even mention to you a commission if you're directly applying to them. You would need to be referred by an approved and vetted B2B partner or legal firm. This is what our role is. We support your entire application, KYC, onboarding, guidance, so you don't waste time. Offering you over 20 investment funds in Portugal to select from and report to you the commissions they're offering. Everyone gets that commission, okay? So if you're working with some firms or people and they're being really nice to you and you're like, oh, this is great. Yeah, they're looking for payday, buddy. We help you with immigration preparation, application process with the AIMA, which is the Portuguese, the immigration department called Agency for Integration, Migration, and Asylum. And then, of course, if you want to see our list of investment funds in Portugal and their potential ROIs and what commissions, closed structures, track record, assets under management, and other key factors, let us know. Complete a 60-second intake form on our website. And whether you're B2C or B2P, and our office will get in touch with you and you can get the full list of these vetted funds. See for yourself what all the options are in our master document available for you. Consider us as your partner in the whole process, not just a service provider. We can connect you and provide you with all the right tax advisors in Portugal, real estate developers, and service providers, funds, legal work, you name it, we've got it. Okay? If you like international investment hacks, creative residency and citizenship solutions, or key analysis and exposed truth about programs, policies around the world, and you want your service provider to be 100% transparent and tell you everything up front, well, you can click the subscribe button on our YouTube channel. We've got a dedicated team to craft solutions for your specific requirements based on your profile, your goals, with clear upfront processes, payment milestones, and peace of mind. We offer a variety of programs to match your background. Transparency, choice, and security, that's what we commit to. With comprehensive insurance, professional insurance with our client trust accounts in our North American banking institutions, we protect your interests. Plus, our multilingual team speaks over 10 languages, and we've helped clients from 55 different nationalities, meaning we're familiar with your documentation, ready to take the next step. And here we come. Click the link below to contact us if you want a personal guidance. I can get on a call with you as well if you are qualified. And of course, you can also book a one-on-one session with me face-to-face on Zoom. And of course, if you're in where we are, well, let's say I'm traveling or we're at our office, I can always do in person as well in case you're in Toronto and you are qualified. Let's jump into it, folks. Thank you. We're back here next week. Thursday, 11 a.m. to 11:30 a.m. Eastern time. And we've got our YouTube audience members who have questions, and we'd be happy to to check their questions and comments. Somveer Kumar says, hello, Reza. Hey, Somveer, nice to see you. Ashwan says, hello. I've seen the SUV stats. There's 32% approval in 2025 till January to April. Do you know what the reason for less approval is? Yes, Ash. Somveer says, anything new about SUV process? It's now 52 months. Yes, Somveer, as I said, they will not restart till September this year. SA.M says, hi, everyone. Hello. And Keto M says, is this better than the D2 visa? I heard D2 visa gets approved faster and it's a lower cost golden visa, or a bit of a scam, do you think? Well, Keto M, I'll explain to you because you asked the Portuguese golden visa question, whether it's a scam or not. So under D2, you actually have to provide residency and you cannot be absent to qualify for renewals and citizenship. Many people are doing that. But as soon as the immigration department catches up and figures out people are doing that, you have, so as long as you want to live in Portugal, D2 I think is great, and even the D7, okay? And even the D8, digital nomad, passive income, right? The Portuguese Golden Visa is the most flexible European Golden Visa that can lead to citizenship, meaning officially you can be out of the country 99% of the time for the whole 5 years right now, until they change it to 10 years, meaning you only need to spend 35 days in 5 years, 7 days, 14 days every 2 years, 7 days for the first year, right? So meaning that people who want that flexibility and that security and don't want any questions asked after 5 years when they apply for citizenship, do the Golden Visa. And there's a lot of good funds that are very solid, right? The D2 is good because you don't need to invest in a golden visa fund. You could invest, I don't know, 100, 150,000, 80,000. It depends on your nationality. But remember, the approval rate for golden visa residency is close to 100%. The D2 is like applying for a visa. So if you're from a high refusal country and you're doing a D2 and you don't have a track record of traveling and a very strong profile, you may be refused. Second is if you want to apply for citizenship and you don't spend all that time in Portugal, which is typically you cannot be absent for a certain amount of time, and so most 80% of the time you've got to be in Portugal, then I don't recommend it because you may not qualify for citizenship. Okay, so there are clear differences between D2 and D7, D8, and the Golden Visa. You've got to be very careful. They're structured for different types of applicants. Okay. So the Portugal Golden Visa is not really a scam. It's actually, if anything is a scam, it's a Greece Golden Visa. Okay. So it really depends. And of course, back to Ashwan's question about the SUV. Yes. So the way it's happened, Ashwan, is that the quota for a startup visa and self-employed is 2,000 in 2025. The IRCC had already processed many cases and they were ready for decision to be issued based on 2024 application processing. However, they held back on approving a lot of these cases in the first quarter of this year. And instead, they only approved 5 groups and they started refusing everyone else. So what they did is they did some housekeeping. And I've said this many times. They started refusing the cases that were in the applications that they wanted to refuse anyways, because it would not affect the backlog. It would not affect the quota. The quota is 2,000 for a self-employed and startup visa. Okay. So meaning, here's the catch. And I said this many times for our audience members on our YouTube live stream, is that the officers working for the government, they've got 2,000 quota to process and approve this year. So what are they going to do between January to March? Approve everyone that they processed in end of 2024 and then have nothing to do or prove that they worked between April to December? Of course not. They'd be fired. They'd be like, oh, we don't need you people. You have nothing to do. So what they've done is they've refused all those cases that they needed to clean up because they were ready. They didn't want to approve those cases. So they've handpicked those cases that were the easiest to refuse. And they've done that. So that's what they did from January to August this year. In September, they're going to restart. I don't know when in September. I don't have a date. I don't have a crystal ball. And they're going to actually process those cases that were stuck since 2024, that they were processed and were ready for PR. But because of the low quota, they couldn't approve them. Okay? So I don't know if I was clear enough, but that's what's happened. It's not fact. It's based on what we've heard from designated organizations. It's based on common sense. It's based on what we're seeing. right? Why would they refuse all these cases and not approve the ones that were ready for approval by in 2025? It's simple. They have to meet the quota. If they meet the quota, so you're in a production line, right? Let's say you're in a factory, you're in a donut factory, and you've got to process 20 donuts a minute, doing whatever in the assembly line, maybe 30, okay? And you do it in 10 seconds. What's your supervisor manager going to do to you? Okay, anyone? Well, they're going to give you a higher quota because you're like, wow, or more work, whatever. So what you do is you pace yourself, right? And you make sure you get that quota within that time frame, so they don't either give you more work, more responsibility, whatever it is, because they're going to still pay you the same wage. So why work more? And that's how government bureaucrats and officers think, right? They've got a nice little cushy salary, anywhere from $80,000 to $100,000 for the non-senior supervisors, right? Great benefits. And then at the end, if they process their quota for 2025 and they're done by March, they're sitting around having coffee, talking about their latest Netflix shows or that Apple TV series that they watch. And then their supervisors and managers are like, wow, these people are doing nothing. Why are we paying them all these salaries? Let's cut costs, right? Anyways, they're going to cut costs anyways. But the whole thing is, it's an image, it's a facade, it's a mirage, okay? And I'm not talking about the mirage in Las Vegas. I'm talking about the IRCC mirage. They don't communicate anything to anyone. I'm talking about lawyers, consultants, members of parliament. It's a black box, and I've said this millions of times. The Canadian Immigration Department is the black box, okay? Nobody figures out what the hell happened in there, what is happening, but you just have to see the signs, and then you've got to almost visualize and do a simulation of what is really going on. And that's what's going on, okay? Don't lose hope. September to December, we will see those quotas being approved, because 5 groups being approved in all of 2025 so far does not match the quota, okay? There you go, folks. That was about the question that we had from our audience members, Ash 1. Hopefully that was of help. It's not a crystal ball. It's not a fact. Okay, even the Prime Minister or the Minister of Immigration has no clue what's happening in startup visa. IRCC is so fragmented, the Canadian Immigration Department, that nobody anywhere in any department knows what the other department's doing. It's freaking crazy. Okay, but anyways, going back to the Portugal Golden Visa, thanks for the question, Keto M. I think it was a great question. And of course, your profile could be great for D2 or a D7 or a D8. D7 passive, D8, of course, being the digital nomad. Okay, but you do need to spend time under those programs. Under the Golden Visa investment option, you could stay 99% of the time outside and just vacation once in a blue moon in Portugal and still qualify for the citizenship. And many people are applying today to lock in the 5-year citizenship pathway instead of the 10 years. Again, it's not guaranteed, but based on past regulation changes and the Constitution of Portugal, which does not allow retroactively applying regulations, many people are assuming and hedging their bets and going with a Portuguese Golden Visa today to lock in that passport in 5 years. And of course, we posted a nice video about how you can use your 401k IRAs. As a Canadian, maybe use your company to invest and skip the Portuguese bank account. So watch that video. I don't know if it was posted on August 9th or 10th. I think it was a Saturday, Sunday, this past Saturday, Sunday. Make sure you tune in, you subscribe. And, people are like, Renzo, why should we subscribe to your channel? Well, it's free. Like I said, not many things in life are free anymore. And we provide you the exposed truth. I want one of you to go out there and watch 100 Portuguese Golden Visa YouTube videos, okay? Tell me which of them will actually tell you they're getting a commission from these Portuguese Golden Visas for referring you. Give me one example. That is the challenge, okay? Nobody, because that's payday for them. They don't want you to know. Well, we have no problem for you to know, right? And we'll split the commission with you, right? To offset the legal fees. And we have over 20 funds. Many agencies will come and push to you maybe a few funds that they have because they're getting good commissions, higher commissions, or whatever. We give you the option. We've got the full documents of all the Portuguese Golden Visas vetted with all their data, factors, and statistics. And we let you even communicate with them directly if you wish to. Fill out our intake form, 60 seconds, and you can get that form. We're here every week. Next Thursday, 11 to 11:30 Eastern time. I am late sometimes. It's a fact. I will go from there. Okay, folks, next week, again, Thursday. In the meantime, we'll post a whole bunch of videos. Nice talking to you. And remember, the best time to plant a tree was 20 years ago. And the second best time is today. And this is talking from experience. Take care. Thanks, Sanvir, for tuning in. And again, hold your breath till the end of September. There will be some traction, or Q4. This year, Q4. Ash 1, great statistics. And I know I've heard of the same through the designated organizations, but that's what's happening. SAM, nice to see you. Key to M, great question on Portuguese Golden Visa. And one last question you have. Once the new Portugal law is passed, would it affect all current Golden Visa holders today and all other visa holders or any other new applicants? So the theory is that when the new citizenship regulations are passed from extending the citizenship pathway from 5 to 10 years in Portugal, it will affect only new applicants who apply after that. Okay, after that deadline. This is not 100% fact, but based on previous track record and previous changes in the Portuguese regulations for the Golden Visa, everyone's hedging their bet and applying today to lock in the 5 years. Again, nobody can say it's 100% for sure, but you look at history to predict the future. And that's what's happened. So that's why we're busy with applying with a lot of Portuguese Golden Visa applicants today, because they want the application in before the new changes, and then we're going to help sue the government to fast track their processing into a year instead of 2 years or more. And I predict by the end of this year it'll be 3 years. But you got to sue the government to get them to work for you, because otherwise the government has no, like, they're not motivated to do fast processing, whether it's Canada, Portugal, anywhere else, right? Besides Panama and Dubai. I think those are the fastest processing. Anyways, thanks, folks. We're back here next Thursday. Again, live stream. And then on the weekends, we post our other videos where we inform you of some key immigration hacks and residencies and citizenships, whether it's crypto, tax relief, or whatever. We're here to help you. And remember, the truth will set you free. Take care, folks. Bye-bye now.